Hello and welcome back to the sixth session of this course on artificial intelligence for beginners. And in this video, we are going to be talking about some of the applications of AI. Now, it's really important that we speak about some of these applications because theoretical concepts are always way more easier to understand when put into application. So even though we're not going to spend time on a lot of applications, but I'm just going to skim through a few of the more important ones. So let's begin. First and foremost, artificial intelligence has been widely used in this technology known as facial recognition. So if you can see on your screen, I'm just bombarding you with some photographs of crowds from different areas. Now, what is facial recognition? Basically, a computer which has the capability to recognize a specific person or a specific person's face in all these crowds, and it doesn't matter whether there are 10 people in the frame, there are 100 people, or there are 1,000 people. If the software is configured correctly, the machine will be able to identify the person which we want it to identify. So, how does it work? Well, you will be surprised to know that facial recognition is actually not that complicated as many people believe it to be. So, to begin with, a picture is taken from a photo or an existing video, and then the geometry of the face is read. Now, this is the primary functioning of facial recognition. So, the distance between our eyes and the distance between the forehead and the chin does not change a lot for us during our lifetimes. Obviously, there is certain development when we grow from childhood to adulthood, but after that, these distances remain more or less the same, and that is why facial recognition uses it as a measure of our faces. And then a facial signature is compared to existing databases of known faces, and the determination is based on the data received. Quite simple. So basically, first of all, we have to create a database of all the photographs of a person or all the people on social media, for example, and that database will then be matched to the person we are trying to recognize. Now, to explain this a bit further in detail, there are certain steps in facial recognition, and some of these terms are interchangeably used, but there are subtle differences which we should understand. So, the first of all is face detection. Now, face detection actually includes detecting and locating human faces in the images and videos, right? So this is the first step of facial recognition. The second part is face capture, which actually details the information of that face based on the features. So if you see in this image, the first set of the images where we are trying to detect the face. In the second part, as you can see, there's dots on the faces. Now using the geometry of the face, the machine is trying to capture the basic information. And the third one is face match, where we actually run through this information with our existing database, and if it verifies that the two faces belong to the same person, it gives a positive match. So once again, I would say it is an oversimplification of the entire process of what I'm doing right now, but the entire objective here is to make you understand how this concept works. So moving on, who uses facial recognition? Really important because it's so widely used as an application, and I think one of the most widely used applications of AI today is facial recognition, maybe followed by chatbots on websites. So security agencies, train stations, airports, malls, everyone, CCTV basically is now being aligned with facial recognition in a lot of places. Phone companies, right? It has been revolutionary when it comes to facial recognition. So, for example, Apple, I think, was the first company which came out with this facial recognition software, and there was a lot of debate that how does it work even in the dark? What are the principles behind it? Well, I think now you have the gist of it, and if anyone asks you during a hangout together, you know the answer, right? The third application in seminar halls, webinars, events which people attend, facial recognition is being widely used. Fourthly, most importantly, social media. right? People are spending so much time posting their videos, photographs on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, so on and so forth. And these are actually some of the platforms where AI machine learning takes place quite a lot, because it's an existing database and you don't even really need to go far to collect the data. Uh, the fifth one actually might be a bit surprising for many people, but sporting events are actually using facial recognition now. So, what is the objective of doing so by sports companies? Well, there are so many marketing objectives which can take place through facial recognition, and it's actually outside the scope of this lecture, so we won't be talking about it. The next important application of AI is in gaming. So those of you who belong to the 90s or the 80s might remember this game called Wolf, right? The full game name was Wolfenstein, and that was actually the beginning of rudimentary AI for non-playing characters in games, and it was a quite interesting game and way ahead of its time. Also, if you recall from our previous sessions, the IBM's Deep Blue chess champion in 1997 was actually able to beat the world reigning chess champion. And these days, we are seeing a high rise in online mobile casinos, including the games of Rummy, Texas Hold'em Poker, and so on. So the player behavior is also being monitored more closely. So whenever we log online on platforms like Twitch, for example, and when you're recording yourself, a certain machine is actually recording all our activity while streaming those games. The next critical sector for AI application is medical diagnosis. And if you remember, in one of the previous lessons, I've told you that machine learning is actually starting to do better than certain doctors in medical diagnosis. Now, there are certain fields in medicine, for example, pathology and radiology, where human eyes are really important because it's so subjective in nature, and these are some of the things which doctors thought can never be taught to a machine on how to create a prognosis or a diagnosis. And what we have seen throughout the history of medicine is that the highest level of agreement between two pathologists at the most highest level has been around 60 to 65%. Also, whenever we talk about the prognosis of breast cancer, for example, almost 50% of these are wrong. But what we have seen is once we have been able to train machines to do this, there has been an agreement of more than 90%, and diagnosis of issues like breast cancer have gone up to a level of almost 75 to 80%. So machines are already beating doctors at their own game, and this is one field where the future of AI is really, really bright, and we should just wait and watch what happens further. Another very important field for many developing countries is microfinance. Because I am not sure if you're aware of this or not, but thousands and thousands of farmers commit suicide every year in countries like India itself due to scanty rain, loan issues, so many other things. But now there have been certain companies which have come right into the foray and trying to create systems, trying to create predictive analytic systems which can actually help a certain farmer. If so, basically, you need to provide certain parameters to the machine in terms of weather, in terms of loan requirement, the land, soil quality, seed quality, what crop are you trying to sow there, etc. And then the machine actually gives out certain results, that how much money should you be spending, what kind of fertilizers should you be using, what month of the year should you be sowing, and what month you should be harvesting. And this we are hoping that will actually help saving a lot of lives. On that note, actually, I want to leave this question out to you as well. If you have heard about this situation or this field before, and how do you think can AI help in this situation? And if you had to design a system like this, what parameters would you use to design such a machine? You can leave your answers in the comments below, and I'd really love to know about it. The last and definitely not the least important is AI deepfake. Now, once again, There are pros of AI systems, there are also cons of AI systems. So because we are generating so much data on social media in terms of images and videos, what is happening is that we can create a lot of fake images or fake videos using artificial intelligence. And quite recently, last year itself in 2021, Oracle, which is one of the leading agencies in artificial intelligence, gave this official statement that by the year 2024, it will be almost impossible for a person to figure out whether an image is real or fake. Because earlier there were certain characteristics of a fake image, like the nature of the eyes, the distance between the ears, etc., etc. But now, because we are generating so much data on social media, and on average almost 2.5 million images are being uploaded on social media every day, the machines are getting more efficient. And what this is doing is actually giving a rapid rise in cyber crimes due to this technology, where people are morphing images, blackmailing others, so on and so forth. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is that we need to understand that every technology has a flip side to it, and deepfake is the major flip side to AI technology today. Hopefully, we can get control of this, but honestly, I don't see how, because we have been blinded by this need or this instinct to just upload something on social media, and this want to be accepted by the society, by the friends, and that only happens if you have more likes or more views on your videos. Hopefully, this thought process changes at one point or the other, but right now I can just see it heading in one direction. Call me pessimist if you want. So that's all for this video. I definitely hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.